Hi there, I'm Patrick with this edition of our midweek highlight show from the stadium. Let's dive into action with the Singapore Formula One Grand Prix. Yes, the glamour and sizzle that Singapore offers just masks the fact that it is a street circuit and you can't expect much action if no one crashes. And in a circuit like this, it's a matter of counting the casualties. There were 9 non-finishers, including McLaren's Lewis Hamilton, who had an on-track altercation with Red Bull's Mark Webber that forced him to retire. The stewards later concluded that there was nothing wrong in Webber's challenge and it was all part of racing, which I agree, but sadly, not for Hamilton. Anyway, it was Ferrari's Fernando Alonso's flawless performance that gave him the win, the second in 3 years, though this time there was no controversy attached to his victory. And this is how they finished in Singapore. Sebastian Vettel was second, if that's any consolation of having to stare at Alonso's rear end for the entire 61 laps. Meanwhile, Webber's indifferent strategy bumped him up onto the podium. While I was impressed with the two Brazilians, Rubens Barrichello of Williams finishing a commendable 6th, and Ferrari's Felipe Massa, who started last due to a transmission failure, weaved his way up into 8th. The Singapore Grand Prix once again shuffles the driver's standings. Webber is still top, but Alonso is just 11 points behind. Meanwhile, Hamilton, Vettel and Button are still in with a shout with just 4 more races to go. The next race will be in a fortnight at the Suzuka circuit for the Japanese Grand Prix. We now move on to news on our local heroes. Firstly, Chong Wei. He captured his second Japan Open singles title after defeating China's Lin Dan. This is Chong Wei's first ever win over the Chinese powerhouse since becoming world number 1. His next challenge will be the New Delhi Commonwealth Games before heading to China for the Asian Games in November. Another successful Malaysian who will be aiming for glory at the Commonwealth Games is Nicol. This is after she lifted her 5th World Championship title last week. And Nicol starts October 2010 as the world's number 1 women's squash player for the 50th consecutive week. And yet, this feat is still not near the all-time record. That record is held by New Zealander Susan Devoy with a massive 105 consecutive weeks at number 1. And if Nicol is going to break that record, well, she has to stay at the top until mid-2014. That's a huge ask. But if she does, well, they just might as well name a district or a town after her. Like, Bandar Datuk Nicol or Nicolville with little Nicolettes running around with squash rackets, swatting flies, because they had to build a township near a landfill. Anyway, moving on, it's time for soccer, or football as we like to call it. We begin with the English Premier League, and what a weekend of bizarre results. Chelsea, Man United, Arsenal, Spurs and Liverpool failed to claim wins, and this has brought some equilibrium to the league. Let's look at what the table looks like after last weekend's games. Despite Chelsea's loss to Man City, United's draw with Bolton and Arsenal's shock home loss to West Brom, they are all still in the top 4. Villa moved 5th after Gerard Houlliers' first win as the new manager, a win over Wolves. Tottenham dropped to 8th after that loss to West Ham, while Blackburn are in the top half after that late goal that clinched the win over Blackpool. To the bottom half, we see Sunderland, Bolton, Birmingham, Stoke and Blackpool, along with 10th place Newcastle, all on 7 points. Liverpool are still struggling at 16th and will play 15th place Blackpool this weekend. West Ham's win lifted them off the bottom, but Everton, dear Everton, 3 losses and 3 draws leaves them rooted right at the bottom of the barrel. The main fixture to watch this weekend is the London derby between Chelsea and Arsenal on Sunday. Can both these sides redeem themselves after their loss over the weekend and cope with Champions League duties this week? Well, I think Chelsea will come out stronger. To the Italian Serie A, where midweek and weekend matches were scheduled, and that has changed the look of the table. Inter resumed their familiar role at the top despite losing to Roma on Saturday. Lazio are second thanks to a midweek home draw against AC Milan, plus an away win at Chievo over the weekend. What's interesting is that the top 10 are separated by just 3 points. Looking at the bottom half of the Italian league, and it's still very close from 11th till 19th, just 2 points between them. Roma has slipped back into the relegation zone while Udinese are still winless. Sunday sees 2 great matchups in the Serie A. Napoli play Roma while Inter hosts Juventus. Now we look to the German Bundesliga. They too had 2 match days over the week, and that has turned out well for Mainz. Wins over Cologne and Bayern Munich gives them a 3-point cushion at the top. Borussia Dortmund scored 8 goals in both their matches, and that takes them second. Wolfsburg also claimed 2 wins, which sees them lead from 18th to 6th. Bayern are 9th, already 10 points adrift of the leaders. To the bottom half, newly promoted Kaiserslautern, who were riding high in the first couple of weeks, have now dropped to 11th, while Schalke are replaced at the bottom by Stuttgart. And we round up the top European leagues with the Spanish Primera Liga. Valencia continued their reign at the top after a midweek draw at home to Atletico Madrid and a win over Sporting Gijon over the weekend. Barcelona moved to 3rd, while Real Madrid could have been joint leaders if not for that scoreless draw with lowly Levante on Saturday. Newly promoted Hercules are proving to be giant killers. After defeating Barca last weekend, they beat Sevilla 2-0, which sees them in 8th. And with surprising results over the big sides, the battle in the bottom half heats up as teams from 11th till 18th are all separated by just 3 points. 1 win and 1 draw in the last 2 fixtures lifts Levante off the bottom, replaced by Real Zaragoza, only 2 points from 5 matches. And that wraps up our review of the week. As we look ahead to this week's action, 3 major events will take the limelight. First, the ongoing Malaysian Open Tennis Championship. Defending champion Nikolai Davydenko is back, along with Robin Soderling, who will want to avenge his loss in last year's semi-final to Davydenko. Then there's the crisis-plagued Commonwealth Games, which kicks off this weekend. With construction delays, unhygienic conditions, collapsing structures and security concerns, the Games is a go. And finally, the Ryder Cup tees off on Thursday at Celtic Manor. It's that age-old battle between the US and Europe. And the question everyone is asking, will Tiger Woods play? Now I say, it doesn't matter, because my money is on Europe, captained by Colin Montgomery, and they will win it convincingly. And on that bold note, I hope you enjoy all the sporting action coming your way this week. Until our next highlight show, you stay safe.